morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started here. First of all, thank you, everyone, for coming in today. We appreciate having you. Did everyone sign in? Did everybody have a chance? We have one left here. I think I talked to everybody in the morning. As you know, we've got breakfast, coffee, water, everything in there. Feel free. Take some home in your pockets when you're done. We don't need all that. But we appreciate having you today. Obviously, right now, this is the hottest topic going in the world of real estate, I think, right now. It's something we should all, even as lenders, we're concerned with, right? This impacts us as well. So we're excited to have Kelly come in today here into our cross-country office to speak about this. I hope you guys kind of get the feel. We are very much our house is your house kind of operation. The reason we have this office is we love to share space with our agents. Feel free to come in anytime, sit down if you have questions, chat. Would like to talk about anything we're doing marketing-wise, we'd love to meet with you here. And if you ever need to just open up a laptop and get some work done, we welcome that as well. There's probably about 6 agents in there this morning right now working already. So, today we've got Mr. Kelly Cook to come in. He's done his research, I hope, on the topic. So we can talk about this. Come on up, Kelly.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Hey, man, let's get some. Am I sitting down here? Or you sit down?
There's another one.
Oh, okay. Now I'm just gonna stand and walk around.
We need your energy.
I can't help it, Rick. So, all right, we ready to roll? Is that the intro?
It is.
All right, that's the intro. All right, guys.
And
how
now, Kelly Cook.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. All right, so I talk fast. I'm gonna try to slow it down a little bit, but I get a little excited, right? I'm excited about the industry. I'm excited about people who want to learn. I love to teach.
So you need something to write on real quick?
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna roll through this, guys. And I don't know if I'm like the expert of all experts on this, but I know enough to be dangerous, and it's interesting. So we're gonna have part of this is gonna be a two-way conversation to see what you guys think and what your opinion is as well. Okay. And then we're gonna put a spin on it at the end on some things you can do to try to protect, right, what it is that you do in terms of how you get paid, commissions, etc., and your value proposition, right? We're gonna go over that and try to walk out today with some actionable items, some things that you can do. Now, there are basically two people in the world, right? You heard this all the time, right? I'm gonna say it again. There's doers, there's action takers, right? And there's people who don't, right? So I'm gonna hope that today you're here to be an action taker when it's all said and done. Yes?
I'm sorry. So are you like a real estate agent? Are you a lender? Are you an attorney?
Thank you, yeah, great.
It's not working.
No, go down.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Okay.
Good question. So I've been doing this 18 years, guys. I'm a realtor. And just that's my true north, right? I'm a realtor, right? I'm an entrepreneur at heart, is what I feel. But I'm a realtor. 18 years doing this. Started in 2005 when the market was on fire, right? Like on fire. Some of you guys remember it, right? That were in this room. And I didn't really get a chance to really experience that too much, guys. Honestly, like I didn't know anybody. I moved here from Mississippi. From Nebraska originally, but I was coaching football at Nebraska, and then I got fired. Well, the whole staff was fired. So then I went to Ole Miss and got fired again, back to back. So I was like, you know, in most professions, if you chose to work 95 hours a week, you'd probably be pretty successful, right? Well, college football is about to start in about 4 days, which is awesome. I'm a football guy. But those guys work a ton, and they can get fired for it. They don't win enough games, okay? So I figured I'd try to take control of my future by not coaching college football anymore, which is what I'm passionate about and I love. All right, let's jump in here. You guys got it? Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay? So that's my background right here, guys. I'm so run a team, investor, coach at heart, serial entrepreneur is how I try to label myself because I'm always thinking, my brain's always working, my wife hates it, about what can be done next to move the ball forward, move the needle, okay? We have about 25 agents. Some of the agents on our team are here today, which I appreciate. So we're always trying to learn. They probably hear me a lot, which is, maybe good or bad. But I'm going to try to put a little spin on something that we do today in terms of what we're going through today. This is very important, guys. This topic is very, very timely. It's very important, and it may require you to think differently, okay? Think differently. All right, so had a team for 13 years, been through this 18 years. Our best year was 2021. Probably everyone else's best year too. Okay, but we did 171 million on the residential side, and we did another 56 million on the commercial side. Okay, we have a small commercial team that specializes in medical office as well. All right, and that my sister actually runs that, and she's out of Chicago, of all places. So it's like an expansion. But we do have two commercial brokers here locally as well. Okay, so that's that. All right, let me see if I can make sure I get this down right here. This little clicker, I'm gonna mess it up. All right, so I want to jump in today, guys, giving you the background. As you can see with our outline, I'm going to stick this a little bit today, but I'm going to jump around a little bit. This kind of just keeps me on track to an extent, okay? But some of you may not even know the extent of what's going on right now in your industry, and you need to know. That's why I'm here today. I'm passionate about it because I do think, ultimately, things will change to an extent. I do. I could be wrong. But if it happens, you need to be ready for it, okay? If it doesn't happen, you're going to be better for being in this class today anyways, even with the current status staying the same, okay? So background on lawsuits. What are the current lawsuits against the NAR? How will they impact us in the future? When do we expect this to be resolved? All right, these are our current lawsuits, okay? So I don't know if I think I did a deal on each one. All right, here we go. The first one, leader versus NAR, okay? There's three main ones you know about. This is the claim, and by the way, claims are pretty much all the same. NAR and others participate in anti-competitive practices by forcing sellers into a system where they pay a commission that is split between both buyer and seller agents. This has inflated buyer broker fees to the detriment of home sellers. That's interesting. A motion to dismiss this lawsuit is currently pending. This is the least recognizable of the three lawsuits. Okay, so let's get to the other two. All right. Next one, Burnett versus NAR. All right, this is the one that's the most that's coming around the soonest. Okay. This is gained class action lawsuit. The NAR filed a motion to dismiss it, and a judge recently, a U.S. district judge recently denied it, and she granted class action status for this lawsuit. This is serious, and it's going to trial October 16th. It's already set. They went through years of discovery. It's done. It's set for trial. This is going to happen, guys, in the state of Missouri. Okay. Will it affect you in Arizona? Yes, it could, and the reason why is because it's in a federal court in the state of Missouri. All right, so defendants named NAR, Remax, Keller Williams, Home Services America, Berkshire, Anywhere. You guys know Anywhere brokerage. Anywhere brokerage brands are Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Sotheby's, Better Homes and Garden. Yep. Okay, they're all included with Anywhere. Basically, Realogy rebranded, so to speak, right? So Anywhere brokerage services plus several Missouri-based MLS services as well. The claim, same thing. Same thing. This is happening, guys. Okay, October 16th is going to be a big date in the real estate community world. The next one, Morrow versus NAR. This one's larger. This one's not as imminent, but it's larger. Okay, same defendants have been named, and along with 20 multiple listing services named as co-conspirators, not defendants, but co-conspirators. All right. Claim is the same for the most part. This is going back to 2015. And the reason why this one is so important is it's because it has the most states involved. I want to say there's home sellers from about 20 different states, okay, or so. And they are also filed for an injunction with the courts. So what does that mean? Permanent injunction, what they're filing. If they are successful and they win this lawsuit, all right, and Burnett too is filing for a permanent injunction as well. If they're successful in this lawsuit, what that means is it will be national. So if they're successful, NAR is going to do what? Well, they're going to appeal. They're going to appeal first because the NAR is here to protect us, and they don't want this to happen. Okay? Hello, how you doing? Hi. And so they're going to appeal. How long does it take to appeal something? A long time. In the meantime, if they win, the federal injunction will most likely, pretty much guaranteed, be enforced nationally until the appellate court has a chance to rule on their decision, which could be a year or two. And then if the appellate court upholds what the district federal court grants, then NAR will appeal and go to Supreme Court. And at that point, it will be just done. Okay, that could take years. In the meantime, if they win here and their injunction is successful, guess what happens? The industry changes in the temporary time being. Okay? I hope you guys understand the gravity of this, right? And that things could possibly change. It's a real, they could not, but it's a real thing. It could happen. It's not fear mongering. It's just getting everyone prepared. Okay? Because by the way, it should be fearful. You should welcome this, and there's a lot of reasons why. Okay? Any questions on that? Now, the reason why this is also interesting is because, guys, this is in civil court. This has nothing to do with the DOJ, these lawsuits, nothing to do with the DOJ, has nothing to do with the White House, nothing to do with any of that stuff, okay? These are in civil courts. Who will be the group of people that rule in favor of one party or the other in civil court? Who are they?
12 people who could not come up with a good excuse to get out of jury.
Bingo. Is there a chance those 12 people, i.e. the jury, maybe sold the house before? And maybe are like now, well, hold on, I paid 6% too. Why did I pay? Because the whole concept, the claim is, why is the seller paying a buyer broker to negotiate against them and to get their house, to basically get less money for their house, get a better deal for the buyer? That shouldn't be so. That's the claim, right? So, what's the chances the jury actually goes, yeah, we agree with the NAR? I don't know, could happen, right? Could happen. But I'm telling that lends to most likely the verdict being potentially more so in favor of the plaintiffs, right? Which are these home sellers claiming that they are that NAR, MLS, and etc. are in a antitrust conspiracy against all the home sellers who want to sell the house. Why? Let's go to the next one. Pause that for a second. The DOJ, they are involved. Okay? The Department of Justice settled a complaint or lawsuit, I should say, with NAR in 2020. In that settlement, the main thing that NAR agreed and the DOJ agreed upon is that the NAR can no longer restrict realtors, brokerages, MLSs from not disclosing how much the buyer broker is getting compensated on consumer websites, anybody syndicates. So does that mean they have to? No. But it means that the NAR can no longer say they can't. So Redfin, right, etc. can now put their buyer broker fee on their website. No problem. That was part of that settlement, guys, if you didn't know. Okay? Department of Justice withdrew their settlement upon all these lawsuits. Our wonderful government and said, no, we made an agreement. We are withdrawing our contractual agreement and giving ourselves the latitude to now open back up any type of lawsuit we want to then file against NAR. That's interesting, right? And they said their argument was because when it involves something as big as the real estate industry with as large of an asset for a single person like a house is for most people, we need to make sure we have the ability as the DOJ to protect the consumer. NAR said, no, that's not how this works. You signed a contract, we had a settlement. So they appealed actually to the U.S. District Court in 2023. They actually sued DOJ, NAR did. And as of right now, the U.S. District Court ruled in favor of the NAR and said you can't just break a contract. But isn't that what government tries to do? Right? Go figure, right?
Can you
Yeah.
reiterate at the very beginning you said the settlement was that NAR
NAR can no longer tell MLSs, etc., that or consumer websites, anybody syndicates, that a buyer broker fee can no longer be not disclosed. Now it can be disclosed. A consumer can know how much an agent is potentially getting paid on the buy side when helping someone buy a house. That was part of the settlement. That was the main thing that came out of it. And so NAR said, okay, fine. We'll allow it to be disclosed if the brokerage or MLS wants to disclose it. Fine. Now sign right here, and they did. Settlement, the lawsuit was over. And then DOJ tried to reverse it, and now District Court upheld it. But the DOJ, they upheld it. Now guess what DOJ is doing? They're currently appealing this decision. They still want some action on this. Okay? So DOJ is still not laying down. Now that does have to do with who's in the White House. Okay? But so that matters there. But the other three are civil. That has nothing to do with who's in the White House. Okay? They're going to happen regardless. And Burnett is scheduled for October 16th to go to trial in federal court. Okay? So you guys know. All right. What's at stake? What's the potential payout? All right. So if you go back to 2015, which is what the statute of limitations allows to happen, okay? 2015 for the Burnett case, for example, they're trying to now state that any seller that sold, because class action lawsuit status, okay? Any seller that sold between 2015 moving forward was damaged. And if so, they can't say, if a seller paid 3% to the buyer broker, they can't say, and they won't, right? They're not that dumb. Well, we need to now say take every home seller who sold and take 3% of that times all these home sellers, and that's the payout. That's the lawsuit potential. What's at stake here. But they'll come up with a reasonable amount. 1% maybe, 1.5% was what the seller should not have paid, right? Maybe 2%, whatever. If you take all the people who sold, that is potentially in this aspect of this lawsuit on the plaintiff side, okay? If you do that, come on in.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. Grab a seat back there, or I guess maybe you stand, or I don't know. but if you take, guys, this payout, if you take all of those numbers and do the math, carry the one, about a $41 billion lawsuit. $41 billion, give or take $1 billion or $2 billion on both sides. Okay? That's a lot. The total market cap, okay, of the 4 big brokerages, brands, okay, like Anywhere is a couple of different brokerages, right? Several. Named in this lawsuit, you know what the total market cap of those 4 plus all the brands with Anywhere? The market cap? $6 billion. How's that gonna work? Right?
Are they
So-
a clawback to agents? Are they indicate anything on that? Or?
No. Good question. No, because agents don't have any legal responsibility to the seller buyer because the brokerage owns the listing. The brokerages have all the liability and they have exposure, and they're doing research on this. Most, if not all, but I can't say all, I don't know, but most E&O insurance policies don't have an exemption for antitrust violations. So these brokerages have some exposure if they lose. If they lose.
How about the franchises?
That's part of it, yeah. Anywhere is a huge franchise business, right?
I don't like this meeting.
Well, no, but wait, there's more, right? It gets better. Come on, it gets better. Yeah. I just love the fact you're asking questions. This is awesome. A lot of times I talk to them like this. What's he talking about?
So I have a thought. Since what the seller paid benefited the buyer, technically it ought to be between the buyers and the sellers, not us.
It isn't the
They're okay, well,
That's actually
wait.
lawsuit. Why is
Pause
it-
that thought. Here we go. Let me, what's the next one here? Ready? Okay, is this the one? Yeah. These 2 reasons, these 2 laws, these 2 rules, not laws, rules, okay, are not helping the NAR in their in their defense of these lawsuits. Okay, number 1, MLS requirement for buyer broker compensation. Does the MLS require you to put some level of compensation in the listing, yes or no? Yes. Could it be $1?
Yes.
Yeah, but they require it right now. In general. Now there are some, right, since this is started coming out over 2019, 2020, there are some MLSs now, few, but little, that have now reversed their decision because they're independent businesses and said, you don't have to do it now. It could be 0. Just a few, okay? It could be 0. But as of right now, the majority of them still require some sort of level of compensation. So the defendant, NAR, argues, well, hold on, you can put $1 in. If the seller chooses not to put $1 in, that's on the seller. This is capitalism. If they choose because they see value in paying a buyer broker to bring all the best buyers, then what are we talking about? And that's why I think all of us probably stand in this room, right? That's kind of where I stand. And I'm a capitalistic kind of dude, right? So like that makes sense to me. Makes sense to NAR. That's why they did it a long time ago. Okay? The second one. Pause that now. The second one, clear cooperation rule. We all know what that is, I think, right? Is there anyone who doesn't? If you don't, that's fine. You don't. Okay? As a lender, what that states is that if you have a listing that you are, as a licensee, that you're going to market in some form or fashion, whether you do a printer, or a flyer, and you put it on a desk somewhere in a real estate office, or at a bar, whatever, or you do a social media post, or whatever, any type of marketing of a listing, you now have to put that listing in the MLS within 24 hours, coming soon, or live, your choice. Okay? And coming soon will last in MLS for a period of 30 days max, right? That's what that says. The concept behind it, you guys understand, the concept is they think that some buyers are potentially harmed, and sellers for that matter, right, is what they say, because they don't have the knowledge that this property over here is coming to the market. They don't even know the seller wants to sell. So therefore, how's it fair to all the buyers out there who are not in the know? And potentially, it harms the seller because the seller got sweet talked in by some fast talking realtor who, if I keep it off market, I can sell for more, right? Which, by the way, could be the truth sometimes, right? But maybe other times it would not be because they're literally suppressing it, that's unethical, clearly, right? So they came out with this rule in, I think, 2020 or 2021. Okay? And that's the deal. Now, independently, those rules are pretty noble, pretty good. But when you combine them together, that's a bad look for the NAR in terms of these lawsuits. Why? Because the MLS says you have to basically offer compensation, number one, and you have to put it in the MLS. So now it's antitrust. Now you're monopolizing the home sellers out there in America. Think about, and that's not good for their defense. Okay, and that's the plaintiffs are going to. By the way, the law firm, I believe, what's the name? The law firm that got retained by the plaintiffs is a law firm. I can't remember the name. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should have wrote it down. But it's a law firm that like helped. I don't know, Procter and Gamble, some of these big companies, right, in antitrust stuff, when it, like, you know, like Albertsons, Kroger, whatever, right, this antitrust stuff they have. This law firm's huge. They have a lot of capital, a lot of money, and they know what they're doing, and they're good, okay, that the plaintiffs have hired. Because they're in it for the money, right? Class action lawsuit, status, that's a big payout. So going back to this, if this goes backwards, the market cap. Let's talk about this for a second. We talked about $6 billion right here. Potential payout is $41 billion. How's that going to work? It doesn't. So worst case scenario in this situation, okay, is that everybody just goes bankrupt and they restart moving forward because you have no liability moving forward in the future, but you do in the back. So can you imagine Keller Williams, Reed Matz going back? That probably is not likely. Okay, could happen, not likely. So what's most likely to happen, I think, in this situation is that the attorney, the law firm, which is not in the business of working for free, okay, they will settle with the NAR and the brokerages all combined. So I think, like, in my mind, how I see it is you see some sort of number being chosen that's still a big number, I don't know, $1 billion settlement, okay? And part of it, there's some sort of change in industry, which we'll talk about in a second, but $1 billion settlement, and then maybe the NAR even goes to all of us and says, look, guys, we need your help. We're here to protect you guys. We got a great settlement, but you have to pony up something so everyone pays $200 across the whole country. And that I don't know, I have no idea, do the math, but what's that, $500 million? I mean, I don't know, it's a lot of money, right? And they sell it for $1.5 billion, or something like that, right? I don't know, or maybe 500 million. Who knows what the number is, but it's gonna be probably a big number. That's how I see it kind of potentially happening.
So I heard a speaker recently who said that they were trying to get NAR to create a slush fund for consumers to sue their realtors. So basically, yeah, I mean, we would be paying ourselves to help the consumer sue us.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that because the agent doesn't have exposure. You just don't. The big brokerages do. Because that's a B.
Yeah, but that fund could be used to initiate other lawsuits like misrepresentation, poor marketing, you didn't disclose the terms.
Sure. And that goes into a whole other class we talk about just in NAR. You're not really working in our best interest? I don't know.
There's
Right?
some major brokerages that literally their whole model is to withhold listings for the first week or two and double side it. I mean,
Well,
They do.
so right. Yeah.
That should bring up a question. Once they've gotten the top tranche down, what is to stop a whole new flurry of lawsuits going out the next day,
Copycats.
going for the second tier, third tier, and then what's the largest brokerage in Arizona that's not national, and so on and so forth.
Bingo. You're exactly right. So again, we could go down a rabbit hole, right, of the worst case scenario, and it could get kind of swirly. That's why this day is so big, right? And it's not going to happen all in one day, right? Who knows how long that trial will take? But the reality is if NAR loses on this right here, it could get a little squirrely because you're going to see a lot of attorneys sending mailers out, running TV commercials. Class action, says precedent, class action. Did you sell a house in 2018? If you did, call a law firm of Smith & Smith because right? That's going to happen?
yeah.
I guarantee, because they got precedent now. They're going to get all these people into a class action. They're going to file a lawsuit and try to win.
Well, what about, so technically it's the buyer who gives the money to the seller to give it to you, so has anybody brought that up that said, hey, it's really the buyers we should be suing because they financed that commission, not the sellers?
Nobody. Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet, at least. Not
Did
yet.
you buy a
That's
house
not-
in 2015?
Question?
I was just going to ask you talk about how it affects the major, what about the other independent?
Yeah, I think there's not as much money there, right? So they're not messing with them. But I think that's what could be a snowball effect, definitely, if they win a lawsuit or two. Yeah, I think they absolutely could. They're the independent brokers, right? That's right. I mean, guys, 18 years, I've never been independent. Could have been independent many times, never did. I don't know. I just figured I'd work on just trying to sell real estate, right? And stay in my lane, true north, right? Be good at that. Not worry about liability and contracts and, and pay a little bit of money to someone else to do all that, right? But that's just me. That's a whole other conversation, right?
I mean, NAR has given us the ability to self-regulate. I mean, the government's going to start getting involved as to how we run our industry. NAR is basically going to lose its effectiveness altogether.
Yeah, they would. Now, NAR is one of the biggest lobbying companies or groups in the entire country, right? So they have a lot of money, and they're going to obviously try to maintain that so the government can't overrun them. But yeah, that could be a thing. Spoiler alert, I think that, honestly, at the very least, personal opinion, when this is all said and done, what government, what private lawsuits in civil court, etc., what they want is buyer to pay buyer agent, seller to pay seller agent. And that's what I ultimately think at the very end of the day probably is going to come out of this. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a little bit more as we go in this. Okay, maybe not, right? Because again, if NAR wins here, we're good until we get to this one, and then hopefully precedent will be set with Burnett, and then Morrow will have a much harder time winning too. But the reality is, guys, is in this one here especially, and in Burnett's just Missouri. This is multiple states. So when this is class action lawsuit status. So what's going to happen here is, I guarantee you're going to see the defendants counsel, right? They're going to try to get as many home sellers into this as possible. Like you're going to get a postcard. You sell, yeah, I'm going to opt in. And if you opt in, based upon the potential payout, you might make $1.42. Right? And we'll mail you a check. Right? But it's sign here saying, by the way, if you don't want to be in, mail us a thing, because you're automatically in by default in a class action lawsuit, right? If you don't want to be in, then you got to mail us saying you're not in, right? Because if they get it, if the settlement is $1 billion or $500,000 or whatever it is, or $500 million, excuse me, or whatever it is, or some big number, then if they have as many home sellers as possible opting in, then that one payout covers everything. They're done, right? But if they only get like a few people, they make a lot more money on those few people, and then they still have exposure, potential more home sellers that have opted in the class action lawsuit, right? That sort of thing. So there's all these different things that could come from that standpoint.
Kelly, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
What's the significance of 2015? Why they choose that?
I think statute of limitations. Because
Okay.
they filed in 2019 on this. I think it's a 4-year
Gotcha.
window. They can go back. They can go back to 2000. 2002. They probably would, right?
Yeah.
Just make more money or whatever, right? Make it sound more scary, I guess, right?
I think one thing that they haven't addressed though is that the consumer does have a choice. I mean, let's face it, there's FSBOs all over Zillow right now.
That's part of NAR's defense, right? NAR has a website, guys. Get a chance. It's called like competition.realtor, I think, something like that, right?
There's also open-faced MLSs in some markets.
Yeah. I think it's very capitalistic. I think it's a bunch of hogwash personally, but like, again, these two things right here, that's part of their deal. This is not good for the NAR in terms of this lawsuit. Okay, Ken.
Wouldn't the current affordability issues we have act as a safeguard for NAR a little bit, where if they say, hey, the buyer has to pay the buyer comp, you have a first-time home buyer now that needs 9% to buy a house in a market that we won't see affordability really re-enter for maybe a decade.
Yeah. Sidebar. You guys ready for a little sidebar? Okay. I like to go off cuff. You guys ready? Okay. About 42% of all homes owned out there are cash, no mortgage. Got it? Okay. About 64% of all homes that have mortgages have a mortgage, 4% or under. If you take those two numbers and combine them, that's about 80% of all homes in America. Okay? Because those people have no incentive to sell, unless they just want to, right? You now have people, those people, by the way, if they want to buy another house, a lot of them could just go buy it. And then it's just like happenstance landlord thing happens, right? Now they're a landlord. But that inventory did not come back onto the market. They still own that house. It's free and clear. Why not? They have a 3% mortgage. Why not? How many clients do you have said, I got 3%, I'm staying put? Yeah, right? This is a real thing.
All of them.
You guys too, exactly. I mean, in this room, right? So, okay, so if that's 80% of inventory, and the economy slows down, right? What the Fed's trying to do, going into next year sometime, or even this year, whatever, but next year, and rates start to come down, that's going to unleash a wave of buyers that are all going to be competing for the same little tiny pot of homes. So what's going to happen to home prices next year if that happens? So I was thinking like a cool name. I couldn't think of one right. I should like, but like a hold and a flip. So investor buy and hold, buy and flip, combine like a hold up or something like that. That could be a new strategy, right? You heard it here first, okay? Or like fold or something, right? Flip and hold, right? But a short-term hold, long-term flip. If you buy a house now, right, and you can just break even on it, then potentially this scenario plays out next year. You rent it out, break even, and then in 18 to 24 months, all of a sudden your property value goes up another freaking 15%, 20% you sell. Or keep holding, right? If you want to just break even.
I've even heard about hog swapping, especially if you got an FHA loan, it's assumable. I mean, if you've got two loans with the same low interest rates.
Yep. Yeah, or it's subject to, right? It's all kinds of creative financing that we can talk about, right? But yeah. So that's a strategy sidebar to Ken's point about low inventory. So just think about that, right? There's ways to make money in all of these different types of opportunities, but you got to put yourself on the line and actually buy the house first.
But to Ken's point, the Department of Justice is involved now, but will they, if we put first-time homebuyers in a situation where now they really can't buy, right? Because that's our biggest challenge with first-time homebuyers is they just don't have the cash available in this market. Now you put them in a competitive where you got to come above list price and pay your buyer's agent. There's no way.
Yeah, so you're talking about unintended consequences, right?
I would just go directly to this.
Unintended consequences. This is a real thing. This is a real thing, right? And we haven't got there yet. That's one of them right there. It's like who? Okay, so let's just skip ahead, right? Let's just get there, right? Oh, by the way, real quick, do you know what one of these lawsuits are? Right here against NAR for a quick market rule. TAN, Top Agent Network. You know they sued, and it's and it's pending still. There hasn't been a they filed for a motion for summary judgment and they got denied. So Top Agent has been suing NAR and it's still in process. And that's the reason. There's no final word on that. That's the reason why they're able to still unload our properties on hand.
Settlement versus no select and what they're already doing with Northwest MLS. They eliminate the requirement to pay 80-90%, particularly those close to median price continue to pay because the listing agents explain, hey, if you don't offer something, your buyer can't afford to pay a buying agent, and it's only the luxury listings or those sellers that just are like, no, I'm not paying a commission, that eliminate it. So about 10 to 20% of buying commissions go away. Probably best case scenario if it becomes optional.
You guys do that? I think it's well said. About 10 to 20% of buying commissions go away, right? Offer from the seller. Could be more than that, but best case scenario. I guess the best case scenario is nothing changes. Right?
That's the best case, yeah.
But we already have a couple lawsuits like PIN and Northwest MLS is a big one that already have chosen to say you don't have to put a dollar amount to offer to buy a broker in there if you don't want to, right? So it's already kind of happening, which is also part of now, and NAR will use that as their defense. It's already happening, no problem, right? But people will still give them the option. They'll still put the buyer broker fee in there most times. Then of course, plaintiffs will argue, well, it's because they don't know. The consumer's ignorant at this point, right? They'll argue that as a whole, but.
Or perhaps that our contracts were changed and it would be separated out, so that the buyer, so let's say we have a $400,000 home, $12,000 buyer broker fee, now the home is $412,000, and that's so it's financeable.
Yep.
So if it's separated, I think that would be the easiest solution, would be, understand that you're financing that. That's it.
Yeah, so this one guy I talked to said that he seems to be in the know. He said that he has heard, he can't provide like for sure definitive on this, but he's heard there's already some talks now with the GSEs, Fannie and Freddie, to allow the limit on seller concessions to now be extended, now be more bigger, right?
Which means they can pay more, so it's the reverse of what they're trying to do.
And what's going to allow, if this goes through, or some form of it goes through, it's going to allow the buyer to just finance their commission to the buyer agent, right?
As a different line item.
What happens if that must be the buyer was decided how they're still gonna show up and
Oh yeah, yeah, it still will be. But the buyer may not. I mean, if you have a big enough value proposition, then usually the buyer won't care, right?
Well, the buyer doesn't care, but the government.
Yeah, but that if they would if they didn't agree to it already. Yes, that's true, 100%. So best case scenario, right? I think that's kind of like what we're talking about. It's kind of easy. The interesting thing is what's the worst case scenario, right?
Well, it
Yeah.
could be counterproductive now, because now if the buyers have to do it, what's gonna happen is the homes are gonna be sold for, they're gonna be a smaller pool of buyers, and the homes are gonna be sold for less. So the sellers, they're trying to get 50 cents, but they're gonna lose $5. I mean,
Who?
Okay, so I'm not gonna predict anything. Let me tell you what I'm seeing right now. What I'm seeing in some markets is that there's some brokerages that are withdrawing from NAR. They're setting up their own MLSs. They're syndicating their own thing.
Where's this at?
So, huh?
Where is this at?
Oh
There was a-
gosh,
there
I
was-
think
there
it was
was a
in
company in
Maryland or something. It was on the East Coast.
I heard a
But
company in
and there's
Michigan.
also was it Michigan?
Yeah, they for some reason they like dominate the entire southeast or southwest corner of the state.
Okay.
And they one day they realized, hey, we are the MLS.
Right.
Bye.
Now the beauty of that is, and there's also an open face MLS in the Northeast. But the thing is that, I'm old. I remember back, when we could put a sign up and things got syndicated and we got those calls, and that stopped, when Zillow came along. So I mean, the NAR sold out our property, a long time ago, not even knowing what the hell they did.
Yeah.
But this is actually an opportunity for brokerages to take that back. But they do have to basically abandon ship,
And
withdraw from
then
NAR. We're all licensees. We can do that.
so now we're just real estate agents, not realtors.
Yeah, you'd be a real estate
maybe a sales
licensee.
agent.
There is an
I'm fine with that.
There is
I mean,
an
it's just a
interesting
name,
lawsuit.
like, regardless.
Everybody in here has been damaged because NAR has forced us to be members. Otherwise, you really can't practice real estate in the state of Arizona without access to all of that.
So now we.
So it's
they
all
are
in law
just-
school.
Maybe
Maybe our
there's a
business-
class action realtor lawsuit against NAR, right?
Nick, what do you-
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, I was
Make
just
them
saying,
pull out
like,
of Zillow to do it.
worst
Force them
case
to get out of
scenario,
Zillow.
so now if the seller doesn't wanna pay for buyer's agent,
Yep.
the buyer doesn't wanna pay for buyer's agent because he'll go directly to the listing agent.
Yep.
Now you have, the listing agent representing the seller.
Yep.
I think the buyer's gonna be disadvantaged in that scenario.
100%.
Well, everybody's gonna be disadvantaged.
Okay, so who are the group of people that will be damaged the most in terms of the unintended consequence?
Buyers.
First time home buyers, there's no money.
Buyers
Boom.
and sellers, both.
First time home buyers, but I mean
Yeah.
there's but that group of people right there absolutely will be damaged. FHA buyers, VA, right?
Low income
Basically
buyers.
low income first time home buyers, right?
Maybe not, because prices will drop.
But how much? The supply demand, I don't know. I don't
But
see.
even if prices drop, that doesn't have an impact on the
Still gonna be
cash.
regardless.
Yeah, it's still gotta bring money in.
So, and there's a lot of people who don't know any better, and so they don't have their representation. They'll just go to the open house or whatever they do, right? And they'll use the listing agent.
I don't think it's gonna be that much different. It's just like structuring a deal where you need to get 4% from the seller to make the deal work, so you up the price and you ask the seller. It's gonna be part of our negotiation stuff, which I think is something that we already do, just for a different purpose. That's it. This seller
Yep.
wants to sell, buyer wants to buy. We're gonna get them to come to an agreement, period.
Yep.
Until it doesn't need appraisal.
That could be an issue. You got appraisal issues, or do you even have the client? You may not even have the client because they didn't call you now. They think they have to pay. They don't know about they can finance into the more whatever, right?
Right.
And if, you know what? I'm just gonna over here because I can't afford to pay that. And I'll just take whatever deal I get from the listing agent because I just need to buy a house. That's an unintended consequence that will come. And then, and by the way, this is these antitrust, right? These are these lawsuits, but it's really a consumer protection lawsuit. All of them are. It's kind of ironic, isn't it?
But it's,
Consumer protection lawsuit from seller, but now the
Yeah.
Right.
Buyers are gonna-
yeah. So then there's going to see this boomerang lawsuit come back around
but
in
both
5
these-
years.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. We're just guessing, right? It's predictions. We're guessing, but like it's crazy what could go on, right? It's crazy what could happen.
Any
So
changes on the lending side too of what concessions are allowed won't happen quickly.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what happens to the referral-based businesses? Okay, so many companies have a ton of money collecting consumer data. Obviously, Zillow, right? Flex. You have UpNest, HomeLight. There's a slew of them, right? Sold.com, whatever, right? Where they charge a referral fee off the top. You don't have to pay anything, or maybe you do. Right? So everyone's different. Dave Ramsey, whatever, right? Okay, and you pay this referral fee, and then you get your what's left over, and everyone's hunky dory. It's fine. What happens to them? They go out of business. The buyer broker fee is not offered anymore automatically.
That's what they want. That's what Zillow wants.
Do they?
They'll just offer concierge
No.
services, 1,500, and will be your buying
Zillow
agent.
makes money off of
They'll
it.
have to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
Yep. The flat fee, which has already been here on the listing side, is going to come around on the buy side. No question. No question. They'll reinvent themselves. All these guys will. Okay. Then you have the agent referrals. I think that one will probably be about the same, right? I mean, they'll still refer to another agent most likely you can, because in the event there is a buyer broker fee, you'll make something, right? What do you got to lose? So that probably won't change much. But that's interesting with all those companies, right? Okay. Commercial real estate, is this proof of concept? For those of you who know how this industry works, is this proof of concept? They're doing just fine. Now, they don't have the MLSs, they don't have MLS and NAR who sold them out, right, for data. They have data all over the place, right? CoStar, Crexi, LoopNet, right? LoopNet free version, LoopNet paid version, right? National account CoStar, regional account CoStar. Oh, that CoStar is expensive, okay? And so the consumer just goes, you know what? CoStar, look, I want to see them all. Let me just call the broker, right? And they call the agent, and then there you go, right? But on the buy side, you guys know there's not always, in fact, the majority of the time, there's never compensation offered on CoStar, LoopNet, right? It's up to the buyer broker on the commercial side to then have that big boy, big girl conversation with their client about how it is they get paid. And that's what we will start to have to do if there's some changes in industry on our side.
But see, that comes with controlling the data.
It
And
helps.
We need to control the
No
data
question.
again.
No question, that would help too. No question. But if we don't control the data, because the cat's out the bag already, trying to get that back in the bag is going to be very, very hard. They'll just reinvent themselves, like we talked about, the big data companies, right? So now it's still being able to articulate some sort of value proposition on the buy side, right? Here's the benefit. Here's the benefit, Mike. Here's the benefit. The benefit is all the people who work at Honeywell have a license, or teach school that have a license, right? Or work for Pfizer medical sales and have a license, whatever it is, they may not renew. They may go away. Why? Because I don't know about you guys, but in 18 years, I get a lot of calls actually from people who have a license. Their friend or family member is going to be moving. They have to list and to sell, or buy, excuse me. And they won't do this side because they don't know how, they don't trust themselves, and the family member, even they're responsible to go, I don't know, you should be listing my house, right? Hey Kelly, will you do it for a referral fee? Yes, but I got the buy side. I got the buy side. We're good. Like it's not a big deal. Like they can't actually do anything financially in terms of favor or value prop on the buy side, right? But they'll trust me on the buy side. I just open the door up and whatever, right? If that happens, that segment goes away potentially, which I'm totally fine with. That works for me, right? You shouldn't be scared about that. You should be like, oh, that would actually be kind of cool, because now there's more opportunity for the person who wants to work hard and reinvent themselves to then have more business on the buy side, even though they may not be offering co-broks. Okay? Australia, any European country, they don't have buyer agency, or in terms of from the seller being paid, right? So how does that work?
They also don't have fixed rate mortgages.
They do for just not 3 years though.
Right.
Right.
For like 3 years.
Correct, or yeah, I mean 10. Yeah, a lot shorter. Yeah, it's different. But with respect to how people get paid, right? So in Australia, that's very common. 2.5, 2 to 3% on the list side. Maybe you get more if you're just a rock star or something. And that's it. And then does a buyer come in and try with an agent and try to negotiate? They might, right? I don't know about increasing seller concessions in Australia or England or France, but maybe if the government allows it, right? But in that situation, it's very common. They think we're weird, right? But the seller pays the buyer broker fee. What's that all about? So what happens is there becomes a bigger opportunity, not on the buy side, guys, but also on the listing side, if this goes into play. Okay. So, but commercial, we're going to go into that in a second here. But commercial, that's proof of concept, guys. It's already there. Data's different, no question about it, and that helps.
Well, the same with wholesalers. You add your price to your commission to the wholesalers.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys all understand how that works too, right? Wholesale fee, there's no commission involved there. You gotta figure that out yourself. Okay? So listing agents, opportunity. What is the number one thing sellers look for when selecting their listing agent? You guys know what that is. Surveys. Say this. This is like undisputable. Anybody have any ideas? Number one thing a seller looks for when choosing a listing agent.
Reputation.
Dude. Nailed it. Number one thing. Okay? So if you don't have a reputation online, or you don't like reputation online, you better figure out how to change it. Are there people who actually pay to do that for you? Okay? Reviews. Big one. Big one. Okay? Reputation in your community if you farm. Big one. Or maybe you should start being hyper-local to create that reputation. But if you're wondering why you don't have enough listings, even in today's markets, because you don't have a good enough or big enough reputation. Also, in the agent community too, right? That matters. We all know, like, I know a lot of faces in this room, guys. I've been doing this for a long time. Some of you guys have too, and it's pretty cool when you can call up the listing and you see like got a buyer interested in a house, and you're like, oh man, that person, that's awesome. I can call them up, call them by first name, and know why and who they are, right? And it just helps the deal get done because of reputation. Doesn't mean you have to be in the business 18 years, right? But just do what you say. Be a man or woman of your word, okay? And don't be a prick, right? Guys, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of was. I come from the sports mentality. So like when I first got real estate, I thought no one told me any better because I just didn't, and I didn't ask anybody either because I'm hard-headed. But I thought all you guys were my competition. So I'm negotiating. For me to win, you had to lose, right? That's how it was in sports. So
I remember you now.
Don't lie. Don't lie. And then I realized that's dumb. Many years down the road, and I wasn't always. I mean, I wasn't like a jerk, but I was very competitive. I can could go across that way, right? Sure. So, but now I'm like, it's all negotiation with your peers, especially. It's all about win-win, getting together. Let's all work together to figure this out. Where do you stand? Where do I stand? What levers can we pull to make it a win-win, right? So that matters, reputation, okay? Showing the listings. If this happens and buyer broker fees go away, paid for by the seller, who shows the listings? Oh, the listing agent does. Yeah, it's not just for the luxury homes either, right? Because you can't have this Johnny buyer who don't want to pay for an agent just show up at the house, right? Even though it's $275,000 in San Tan Valley, or whatever, right? You gotta drive out there and show it.
You know what? We'll start seeing these little digital keypads. Call me when you get there. Here's the code. Doing a virtual tour, except they're in the house instead of you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And I think there's an app out there, there's a company that you can just sign up for and you pay like $25 or something like that per house you show or something. That's an agent. If you don't have any business or whatever, and someone else does, and they need something. So there's ways around it. There's ways around it. Let's be honest, okay? But there's a big opportunity here. Big opportunity. Okay. When you go on a listing right now, I hope most of you guys do this. When it comes to the big boy conversation about fees, okay? By the way, I love that fee, that word, fee, as opposed to commission. It just has a slightly better connotation than commission, right? Just FYI. But do you have a conversation about splitting up the fees? Or you say, hey, charge 6%. I hope you do, because you should be. If not, you're missing out. Because we have an upside down triangle in our listing presentation. And we start there. Hey, the traditional offering is, 3 or 2.5 or whatever, right? just sit back and let them. I give them little parameters, and what do you want to do? Because if you go lower, see the triangle goes like this, the buyer pool gets skinnier. Your choice. I already do that. Now, if they say, well, I'll pay 1, I'm in 18 years, never done that, right? Or anything 1.5, never done anything below 2.5. But they don't know that, and guys, I don't know that I've ever had someone go, yeah, I'll do 1. Maybe it happened. I don't know. But if it happened, I go, well, hold on here. I go, you sure it's smart? Let's just work at a tighter parameter between like 2.5 and 3, right? That kind of thing. But that's what you should do. So then it's compartmentalized over here. Now you're talking about your fee and what you work for, right? And so we do that. That's gonna be no different in this situation. That's gonna be no different. You have the ability to maybe charge 4 just for yourself because how you spin it. It sells, guys. Hey, Mr. Seller. Good news is the ruling that came down in Missouri, right? This federal injunction's in place. You don't have to pay the buyer broker anymore. In fact, you can't actually, right? Or you can, excuse me. You don't have to. There you go. That's what I meant. So, what do you want to do? Same conversation. And by the way, because you don't have to pay 5 or 6% anymore, you give me 4, right? It's a lucky day. You know, that sort of thing. And all the stuff we just went through the whole presentation for 4%, man. You already saved it a point. And then you have the conversation, they ask questions, right? Or inform them about, well, what if someone comes in with closing costs and whatever, right? A little conversation at some point in the presentation later on. I don't even know how that would work out for me yet. You know, I mean, it's got that part.
That's justifiable, because either way, we're gonna end up doing more work if people aren't buying.
Yeah, you gotta show the property. It's one way, right? You do a lot more stuff. So then there you go. And if you're convinced that much like that, it's justifiable. 4%, 1.5, whatever. Then maybe it'll work, right? You just gotta be confident what you're saying. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Okay? Larger commissions. Okay, as we just talked about that. Dual agency. I think that's a real thing, guys. You're gonna see a lot more dual agency, which I don't believe is good for the industry.
No.
I don't believe it is at all. How do you know that offer is presented?
Well, technically, it would be just an unrepresented buyer
Maybe.
because you've got the agreement with the listing.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's like, I want you to, or you have that conversation with the buyer, do you want me to represent you or not? Right? Okay? Have a good day, guys. Thanks for coming. Oh, thanks. Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate it. Okay.
Very impressive.
Oh, did he? Oh, thanks. It's very impressive. No problem. Jeez.
One theory
Yeah.
on top of that. I was thinking about this really hard this weekend. I was having a conversation with a few guys. Another option is we turn into car sales. Where you come on my lot
Okay.
and I only show you the houses on my lot.
Yeah.
Let's not pay attention to that one over in, you don't even know that exists.
Yeah.
You have to get your car and drive over to the next salesperson who's going to get you. Which means the bigger brokerages who can show you all the stuff. But if you're a smaller brokerage, you might have 5 listings scattered.
Yeah, but if you're an agent with a bigger broker and you have 100 listings,
yeah, then you're good to go.
well, but maybe not, right? Because you're not getting paid if Jimmy over here at the same brokerage sells us, right? You're not.
Yeah, but then
Unless you're going to use me on the buyer side.
Here's the next thing, okay? I'm running 1,500 agents and they're all my listings. Alright?
As the DB.
I'm the designated broker, they're my listings.
Okay. Yep.
Alright, you want to sell one of my listings as one of my agents, that's great, here's your flat fee.
Yeah.
Because it's not going on MLS anymore.
Yeah.
Just like what's going on in Michigan with that place that runs southwestern Michigan.
Yeah.
We could turn into car sales.
Yeah. And the good agents go, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna go do my own broker.
Yeah, if I want to screw people over with money, I'd be selling Mercedes. I get to drive one home.
Yeah. True. That's the perk.
That's the perk.
So if this goes bad, you always have a car seller, right? You don't want to do that. No, you don't do that.
They don't let me live in the house until they sell.
All right, buyer agents, guys. We talked about a lot of stuff. Right? What does the future of the buyer agent look like? What is your value proposition? Consumers want to work with someone they trust. So reputation on the listing side, trust on the buyer side. It's not just what I think. It's surveys, right? This is a real thing. Trust on the buyer side. Trust on the buyer side. If you're not confident about how you say something or what you say on the buyer side, they're not going to trust you. They don't trust you, they're not going to use you on the buyer side. Okay? Have your buyer consultation system in place. How to protect your buyer agency fee. Okay, so this is the part, okay, that we're going to talk about here. Buyer consultation system, do you have one in place? What is the quantifiable system that you have?
Yep.
By show of hands, guys, who has one? A buyer system. Quantifiable buyer system.
Explain to me what you mean by
Quantifiable.
that.
Yeah. So something you can say, you'd like to buy a house with me, I'm a buyer agent, I'd love to help you out, here's my system. It's tangible.
Got it.
If you don't, I would highly recommend you start working on that. And nowadays you can have ChatGPT that can help you out, right? You know, maybe, I mean, I haven't tried that, and sorry, I've had one for years, but maybe just fire that up in ChatGPT, maybe I built I don't know, right?
I'm not entirely sure how having a buyer system is going to work. I mean, with me, my system is finding out what the goal is of the client, and they're all different. You know, you can't really just put them in a pigeonhole solution.
Okay, give your name one more time.
Blanca.
Blanca, I love all your ideas. Blanca, I would like to buy a house. Okay, I'm a home buyer now in Scottsdale. I just moved here from Michigan. I see all these houses on the market. Do you want to help me out, or
Yeah,
should I
what's
just
your
go
goal?
What's my goal?
What's your goal? Is this to live? Is this an investment? What do you plan? What's your future?
I got a family of 3 kids, you know,
Okay.
wife, and I just don't know if it's worth it using you, or I don't know. I just go out and just do it myself. In Michigan. So it's nice to meet you. You seem like a nice person. Like you're a realtor, so that's awesome. But like, I'll probably just go do it myself.
Okay. I don't know. My conversations never go
Why-
like that.
Why would I work with you? Okay, I want to use realtor. Why work with you?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, you put me.
I know it's not fair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, I'm usually talking to people about real estate prior to even going there, and at that point, I've already had a chance to establish my.
Okay. Do you do any
Why
online
not?
lead generation at all, or anything?
I do some.
Okay. In those situations, there's many times where you don't have a luxury sometimes to get to know
Right,
them first,
right. I mean, usually with listings, it's different. You really kind of have to have something a little bit more planned.
I would disagree. I would argue that in buy side, your system should be exactly the same, not same system, but you should have a system, a way to enroll people to work with you and commit to you. And I think if this goes away, it's going to be a lot more challenging. And I would really encourage all you guys to consider that if you don't have it, right? It's going to make you better. So let's say, best case scenario, nothing changes. NAR wins, lawsuits. This is still going to be worth your time because now your value proposition is better on the buy side regardless.
Okay,
if you
so
want to use it
now
or
I'm
not.
curious. I want to hear your system. Why should I use you?
Glad you asked. I have a PowerPoint slide here. Okay, so we have, and it should be named. It should be named, right? I don't care if you call it the Rick Smith buying system, right? By the way, if you guys ever read the book E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, remember that book? Dude, phenomenal book, by the way. If you haven't read it, you should read it. He talks about, and also in the book Traction by Gino Wickman, he talks about having a way. Michael Gerber talks about the franchise prototype. Okay, call it McDonald's, whatever, right? A way. Yes.
The name of the book, I'm sorry.
E-Myth Revisited.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And another one is Traction by Gino Wickman.
E-Myth Revisited.
Thanks.
Yep. E-Myth is phenomenal book. Yes.
Will you be sharing that PowerPoint with us?
Michael, what?
out to everyone?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, if you go on my Instagram and like my channel, or maybe follow me better, I really appreciate it.
I'll send you this along with the link to his Instagram and YouTube channel.
All right.
That'd be
sounds
awesome.
good.
A little quid pro quo, right? You know.
Yes.
Michael, what?
Michael Gerber, E-Myth Revisited. He talks about something called the franchise prototype, guys, and he talks about like McDonald's. McDonald's is the obvious
It's
one,
written at
right?
the bottom of your handout.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
right here.
Yep, very bottom. You're right. Top 5 books for me. That's me. It's my personal opinion. Okay. And the franchise prototype talks about how it's your way. It's the way you do something. You should have a way that you do something, whatever system is important to your business. For example, he gives a hotel, a boutique hotel. No, let me back that up. Better, more simpler example. Hairstylist, barber, whatever you call it. Okay. He's a dude, so he talks about one day he goes into a salon or barber shop, whatever, I don't know. And he goes in there and he sits down. Some lady comes out and says, "Hey, what's your name?" "Oh, no, Michael, you're my 4th appointment." "Yes, okay, great. Would you like coffee or tea?" "I like coffee." "Great. Decaf, regular?" "Regular." "Cream or sugar?" "Cream." "Thank you." Comes back. "Here you go, sir. It's hot." "Oh, this is nice, right?" Now comes to he comes back to sits down in the chair. Okay. The person goes, "Now, sir, to put your coffee down, come over here. Let's wash your hair." "Great." tea tree shampoo. It's tingling, get a little massage there, right? He's like, oh, this is great, you know, getting head massage. Gets done, gets back there, cuts his hair, and then gives him I don't know, like a little gift card to $5 at Starbucks, I don't know, something like that. The way. Thank you very much for coming in. Hope to see you back next time. Great. Walks out. What's your hair do? Gross, right? These are some of us, right? Still, no offense. And so he comes back, and no offense, Michael. He comes back, and he walks in. Now, why did he come back?
He liked the service.
He liked the experience of the service. The service is great. That's why he came back. He said, I came back in there. Some person didn't even greet me this time. Waiting room. Didn't even greet him. By 4 o'clock, and he must be Michael, 4 o'clock, he was on the schedule, blah, blah, blah. Came out, and then all of a sudden someone comes to their little, you know, the podium, whatever, right? And they're sitting down, and they go, oh, you know, something like, what's your name? What time's your appointment? Person who worked there. He's like, I'm Michael, I'm, 3 o'clock. Oh, yeah, okay, you're on the schedule. Great, come on back.
Where's my coffee?
Okay, goes back there, sat down, the person goes, you know, Jimmy comes up, or whoever's the stylist, comes up and says, okay, what are we doing today? That's a problem. Why was that not written down that Michael likes this kind of haircut? Why would you have to even ask Michael if he's a returning customer? And he goes, yeah, you know, part of here, whatever, blah, blah. He goes, okay. Start cutting hair. What did I do? There's no washing, tingling, tea tree, massage on the head. None of that is awesome. Right? so he gets his haircut, and then no gift card on the way out, or, you know, say, hey, you know, whatever, I said thank you. And he goes, am I going to go back there again? No. Now, maybe if that was my experience the first time, it's good enough, I go back. But there wasn't a documented system or a way of how that company did business. And so he will never be a return customer. That's his point. Yes?
Yeah. That really does matter. When I was younger, I worked for the clothery. They sell, you know, $20,000, $30,000 suits.
Oh, yeah.
All the pants have no hems. And literally the customer walks in, they're given champagne. They're not asked what the tailor makes six figures. Everything is customizable to them, but they only take the information one time.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
There you go. That's for example. That's your way. So that should be your buyer system. That should be your buyer system. That the guy comes in, wants to buy a $900,000 house from Michigan, should be treated the same person as, you know, the first-time home buyer. Most of the extent, right? Comes in, wants to buy a house for $300,000 and $10,000. Right? Should be the same thing.
Yeah,
it's your
same
process.
thing. Yeah, they get a packet.
Correct. So, if you're in a grocery store, or you get a cold call, a lead call back, whatever, Google lead, whatever, and you call them, and you answer, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about buying a house, I don't know. They may not ask you why should I work with you. They may, but that usually isn't how it goes. They're telling you that, and you feel it, and you have to know, or maybe expired phone calls. You better we tell our team, there's 2 things that we offer that better be different than good, right? On expired phone call. Immediately, again, we have a buy it now guarantee and no contract now guarantee, right? And those 2. Have you heard of that? No, I haven't. What is that? Well, I heard of buy now, okay, or no contract guarantee. Yeah. What is that? What's the other one? Well, let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. Do you think that possibly there's a chance that somebody wanted to buy your house with your previous agent, but they couldn't because they had to qualify to sell their house first? And so therefore they could not qualify? You think that probably happened? What would you say if you took your realtor hat off for a second? I'd probably say, well, did you have any showings? That's what you say first, right? Yeah, I had 20. How many did it sell? I don't know. Well, let me ask you a question. Blah, blah, blah. I guess it's possible. So 20 of the people who came in, is it possible that maybe 1 or 2 of them loved your house but couldn't buy it because they had a house to sell and couldn't sell it? Yeah, I guess it's possible. Perfect. So we have a buy now guarantee. We will buy that house from them so that in that example, when that happens, they can qualify your house and buy it immediately. Did your realtor do that? You just have? No. Craned down. Right? And you're different. You have a system. You have a value proposition. When you're put in the spot, you make a cold call, you better know your script, you better know your value proposition, you better know what you have to offer. And it better be different. Okay? So that's an example of this. So buyer benefit program features, that's what we call it. Buyer benefit program, that's what we call it. Okay? That's our name. You should have a name to it. Then you have a system. So on here, there's 7 things that we say we will do. Okay? There are 4 bonuses that we will offer. Everyone's bonus. I could just go see what's 7 plus 4, 11, right? I could have 11 points. But I have 4 bonuses, because everyone has a bonus. And on bonuses, there's some real dollar amounts that are quantifiable. Someone goes, okay, I can get it. That saves me $500. Yeah, I understand that. I relate to that. Okay? That sounds good. Then you flip it over, and the back of it, in return for these services, you will agree to do this. Right? Very nonchalant, very like you're not locking the handcuffs or anything. Right? And then they sign it. Okay? And it's a 6-month commitment. If you want a year, do a year. Okay? And that's our way. That's our process. That's our system. So if someone asks me on the telephone, why would I work with you? I tell them because we have a buyer benefit program. Have you heard of it before? And what are you going to say? Come on, guys, help me out here. No, they say no, right? I say it in a way where they feel like they should have heard of it. But they haven't. Because no one else probably has it. So it's our deal. Okay? So that's our system. All right? This is our book. This is really our system, right? Okay? And then we have a buyer benefit program that is part of the documents, and I'll explain this how this works on the next slide. Okay? But that's our book that is quantifiable. Somebody is pages to it. Someone can look at it and go, page 1, page 2, page 3, and it talks about what they're going to get when working with us. Okay? Now, here's our system. We'll go through it really fast. Okay? I know we're running out of time. Set an appointment to me in office. Okay? This stuff's kind of self-explanatory. Subject property, their house, or you're just like, now I could be old school and say, you need to meet them at the office. Is that realistic every time? No, it's not. Okay? It's just not. So, sure, meet them at the house. It's not ideal. The ideal thing is meet them at the office. By the way, 2 types of buyers, you should always, there's no excuse, 100% of the time meet in the office, first-time home buyers, and relocation people. 100%. 100%. No excuses, right? Because they want that expertise. They have a TV with a map, right? You show them the map, the traffic patterns, all that stuff, right? Okay? Orders your site, coffee shop, their house, whatever. If out of state, set up a Zoom as soon as you can. So we have that system in a digital format. So we talk about if you have them on the phone, first phone call maybe. It's a Google lead, whatever, right? First phone call, and they go, yeah, I want to buy. This happens, by the way. This really happens. We have phone calls recorded. Yeah, I want to buy, moving down there, in a couple weeks, whatever, right? Here's what I'm looking for, blah, blah, blah. Just like nice people. There are nice people out there that actually exist that want to use a realtor. It's bizarre, right? But it happens. That situation, what we should be doing at that point is going, perfect. Hey, Megan, do you have 15 minutes real quickly? Just hop on a Zoom call really fast. I got a link fired up for you. Let me just share how the process of buying a home in the state of Arizona looks like and what we do to help you achieve that goal. And they say yes. Then we pull up the digital copy and we start sharing with them right there. Okay? Right there. And we have the 5 documents ready to go. And we can, after we hang up here, next time we do is I'm going to e-sign these to you. And I need to buy a broker, right? They sign it because e-sign, click, boom, comes right back to you. Comes right back to you. Okay? So you should be doing that right away. Jumping on that. Guys, time kills deals. Time kills deals. Now, could you still sell that person a house? Absolutely, of course, right? But if they have a written commitment, it's much more likely that you're going to have them as a client buying a house. And you sniff it out if they're really like a tire kicker or truly do want to buy. In some cases you can really tell, right? But they sign a situation, sign a deal, sign a document, they're probably going to be a legitimate buyer. They're not just kicking tires as well. So you get that stuff also. Agenda for meeting. So set expectations. This is a 5-step process, guys. This is our way. This is our system. You need to have a system. You don't like this? Scratch it. Your own system. This is our system. Set expectations of what to come in the meeting. Recap of already said previously on the phone. Okay? So right away, hey, Mr. Seller, thanks for coming in today. Everybody wants to know what's going to happen next. So you tell them, right? I'm not going to ask you, I'm not going to just ramble on here about whatever. I'm going to maybe build some rapport. I'm going to say, hey, we're going to cover a few things in this meeting. We're going to do a needs analysis. We're going to then show you a couple properties based on the criteria you already gave me on the phone, or whatever, or they have it and you plug it in. Then once pulled up, we're going to cover our buyer system, i.e. the book I just showed you, right? Then we're going to talk about some documents. I don't say we're going to get a written. I don't say that. It's stupid, right? Words matter, right? I'm saying we're going to cover a couple documents that say the Arizona requires when we work together at the very end. Cool? All right, let's start with the needs analysis. Now I'd rather ask you 100 questions now and show you 10 properties than ask you 10 questions only and then I'm showing you 100 properties because you're going to get buyer fatigue and you're going to hate me, right? So forgive me if I ask you questions, but here they come. And you start diving in. Questions. Diving in. right? Criteria, time frame, all this stuff, right? You guys know you should be asking to try to help them find a house, okay? Financing, everything, right? Needs analysis, that's part of that. So okay, now that we know you're looking in Scottsdale between $1 million and $2 million for 4 bedrooms, whatever, blah blah blah. Here we go, and I'm literally right there on the computer. MLS, boom, boom, boom. Oh, there's 63 properties, whatever, right? Great. Let's look at a few, right? Online, and then we start going through a few. And guys, people they love it. Like, yeah, okay, let me see pictures. I just fire the pictures, click, 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 you know, right? So they know that. Oh yeah, okay. Stop. Look at that kitchen. Oh yeah, that kitchen's nice. So is that the kind of style you're looking for? That white transitional? Yeah, I like that. All right, cool. Right, you know, that kind of thing. You get it figured out really quick. You might even pick a couple properties to go with them after that meeting. Right there on the spot. If they're vacant, you set them up, of course, right? Otherwise, you set it another time. But the purpose of this time is to have a big boy, big girl conversation about what you're going to do to help them find a house, and eventually maybe how they're going to pay you, because they ain't going to be in the MLS anymore potentially. Okay. Get rid of commitment. So at the very end, we have 5 documents, guys. We have 5 documents. We have a tray in our office. Everybody's trays, right? Right, boom, 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 boom. Okay? And those 5 documents are pre-printed ahead of time in the tray so that if an agent books a buyer with it, they go grab a stack full of books if they don't have their own personalized ones, right? So we have personalized ones too. But the generic ones are in pinch. They go grab a book. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stick it in the back of the book, and off they go. And they're in order too on those 5 trays. Okay? The order, in my opinion, are number 1, buyer agency. Okay? Agency disclosure. Why? Because if somebody sees you at the very end and they're like, have phobia about contracts, or you know, oh well, here it comes. And you pull out the, you know, and they go, you explain buyer agency, and they go, oh, all right, yeah, sure. You give them a pin, right? Cool. Next one. More. MCA number 2. MCA number 2. Okay? Why? Because that. Have you ever read that document? It's insane. That MCA, right? It'll make them laugh if you actually think about it, right? So MCA number 2. Boom. Got that taken care of. Okay. The next one is buyer advisory. Buyer advisory. And this one is like, oh man, this one here, this is a doozy, right? If you ever want to fall asleep, read this. But if you want to know anything about state of Arizona real estate, just there's a paragraph right here, a link. Check it out. Very last page. Wow, it's that right there. Okay. And then, all right, we only do 4 actually. You want to do 5? What's the fifth one? Yeah, that's the last one.
Agency?
Did that? It's on blank.
Wire
Federal
fraud?
housing.
No.
I'll get back to you guys.
Why?
Maybe it's on 4. No, I don't do that. But anyways, the last one,
Oh, affiliated business disclosure.
maybe that one. The last one we do is the buyer broker, right? And we have those in order, okay? Buyer broker. The buyer broker, okay? The buyer broker is not the one we don't use. We don't use the AR one. We use this one, okay? Right here. That's what we use. You can use the real one if you want, the real one. But this will do, okay? And we explain that. By the way, everything in here, for the most part, was covered in the book right here. So we don't have to go through it all again. Just touch the highlights, the bonuses, blah, blah, blah. And they go, cool. Okay? Now, when you talk about this, you need to explain to them, if you, by the way, even if nothing changes, and you want 3% instead of 2.5%, that's how you get it as well. You want to get paid more than 5%, right? That's how you get it. You simply say, and this is how, in return-based services, all that stuff, right? This is what you'll do. You talk about that back page, and then you say something along the lines of, and so the traditional fee that I work for, or you know, to use the word traditional if you want to, is 3%. The seller is going to offer the majority of that compensation, if not all of it. So you're good to go, which is pretty darn cool. In the event the seller does not offer the majority or all that compensation, we are going to do our very best to get the seller to pay for it, in addition to what they're already offering through seller concessions. Okay? What are seller concessions? This is a good time to talk about that, right? They ask that question. They need to know that they have that option too in buying a house if you already haven't discussed that already through the needs analysis. Okay? And that's it. It's down right here. They know they're on the hook for it. Then if the seller can't get it, then they're on the hook for that point if you want to charge it them. Okay? And that's very easily done. All right. And then right here, what's your value proposition? You should know your elevator pitch. What might be a good example real quick? Anybody have one they want to share? Elevator pitch.
I say we say, help you save time, money, and stress.
Okay. Okay. Love it. Anybody have another one?
your house that you want, the terms you want, I'm sorry, the offer that you want, the terms you want, and the price you want. Probably said that mixed up, but
That's right. Mr. Seller, my job as your buyer agent to get the house that you want, but it will make the offer that you want.
correct.
The price that you want with the terms that you want. Okay, on the buy side. Alright? Or how about something like this? Know your stats. Hey, you know what? On the last 3 buyers I helped, could be over the last year if you want to close the deals, right? Last 3 buyers I helped, actually I helped them save 4.5% off the asking price on average. That's what we do for you. Know your stats. Now, if you don't have that, don't say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't have, and if you're paying full price for everything, maybe don't say that one, right? You know? But, yeah. And ideally, your value props ideally mirror your client's personality, right? Like, I would use that dollar one if it's a high D, right? So it just gets to the point, right? It's all about the money, right? But if they're more like a high C, or high S, I should say, and more warm and fuzzy, that one works better. That or Greg's, right? So it depends on, have a couple different tools to pull that tool belt, right? Okay, guys, now what? You have the client. How do you continue to provide the value? There must be a cadence in communication. Okay? There must be a cadence of communication. They chose to work with you now. Now, how do you continue to provide that value so their experience is good? The cadence communication could be something like this. And I said, what time will you choose? Okay? Everyone should have a time blocked in their calendar. 9:30, 10, 8 a.m., whatever, noon, where you will update your buyer clients on their buyer search. You actually take the time to go in MLS, and if there's 45 properties, you'll pick one. And if you're really sharp for time, you just cover your eyes and go, that one right there. Right? And then you send it to them. Hey, Mr. Seller, not sure if you've seen the most recent property came out, or actually this was on the market 14 days, whatever, right? But this house, you haven't sent it to me yet. They said you like it, so I'm sending it to you because I think it fits what you're looking for. What are your thoughts? And they might not respond. But the next day you do it, 5 days a week especially, right? On your time, because between 9:30 and 11:30 you might have lead generation time blocks. You might have an appointment with yourself that you don't want them to interfere with you, so you do it outside of the time where it's not going to interfere with your schedule. And man, if you're hitting them with a text once a day, 5 days a week, about a property that's in their search, what's the perception, guys? Oh my goodness, my agent is on top of it, right? By the way, this house right here that's coming on the market, it's not available until 4 p.m. to see it. We just have to go see it at that time. Now, is it available at noon to go see? Probably. But you're saying 4, why? Why?
It's your schedule.
It's your schedule! And they're like, oh man, 4 p.m. is available? If they may not like it, that's cool. If they like it, they don't have an option, right? I think always, guys, you can say, well, I work, rather than go 6, whatever, right? But you're phoning it to work for you. This is how you run a business, because all you guys are running your own business. I don't care if you're on a team, I don't care if you're an individual, I don't care if you're a broker, whatever, right? Doesn't matter, okay? Do they understand the process A to Z? Home buying 101. Everyone should have some sort of sheet, a one-pager or something, right, in a buyer benefit book or whatever your program is, right, that talks about this, A to Z. Do they understand how it works? They understand simple, generic things of how it works. I guarantee most of them don't. We identify a property. We make an offer. Then you have to put down earnest deposit. How much will that be? Okay? After earnest, you have your contingencies in the contract that will make sure they don't counter us out of. Home inspection, right? We'll negotiate that. Here's what I'll do for you on that. Appraisal, financing, loan contingency, guys. Loan contingency is crazy, man. It's crazy, right? You have that on your side, right? And then keys. Not every state is the same. They might come from Maryland, whatever, right? They don't understand that maybe that the day they close, they get the keys. They might think it's a 3-day right of redemption period. Okay? You can't assume that. But if you tell them, walk them through that, they're going to have a great experience. And then at the very end, which I will tell you right now, guys, in packet closing, this is where I'm bad. I'll just be very honest. I'm transparent as it gets, right? I'm bad at that one. Okay? Which is not, I need to be better. Okay? But when it's all concluded, deals closed, they remember how you made them feel, and that's the reason they're going to refer you or not. They won't even remember how well you negotiated on the deal. You got extra $5,000 saved on their Pinzer. That's where I shine, and they probably don't even care. But I think they do, right? So I feel good about myself, but I'm bad at gifts. I give gifts, but I hate giving gifts, right? hate it. But that's part of their good feeling of it's closed. Oh, I got a fruit basket, or I got a little gift card, or I got a wine bottle. I don't know, whatever, right? Or you engrave something, whatever you guys want to do.
Sometimes
What is your system for telling those dollars where to go? Real estate sales. Real estate agent. Okay? Is that everyone's dream job in here? Okay, so about 2 years ago or so, a year and a half ago, I asked my team that, hey, if you guys could do any profession, any job in the world, right? How many of you guys would sell real estate? And one person raised their hand.
I actually really love it.
Good.
I have an exit strategy, but I still love it.
Love it. So you would choose
I
that.
just do it less because I have more passive income.
Okay. Cool. And I don't know that anyone would just continue to do your job forever, right? If it include actually being somewhere at a certain time or being, be held to something or somebody. But the key is, the point I'm trying to make, guys, is most of you guys didn't raise your hand, right? None of you guys did except, you, which is kind of like, fuck you. Yeah. So, like, it's a great job, guys. I do it 18 years. I love it. I love many aspects of it. It's not my dream job. Jerry Maguire, that's my dream job. But so the point is, what's your exit? Okay, so now whether you're a garbage man or a real estate agent, realtor, right? It's a job, right? Some jobs just happen to pay more than others, but it's still a job. So now when you make that active income, what the IRS would call, right? What do you do with it? That's a question every single person. That's my passion, guys, is the wealth creation side of business, right? That's my passion of this. So investing. There's only so many different types of investing you can do, general, topical types. Number one, you can put your money in stocks, bonds, commodities, right? Play the market. Okay. Number two, real estate. Number three, businesses. Invest in businesses. And for the most part, that covers it. Flipping homes is not investing. It's a job. Okay? That covers it. So, what's your extra? Where are you telling your dollars to go? Maybe you have a specific plan? Good. Don't be scared about it, guys. One thing, Sharon, right, the president, he's like, dude, you cannot be scared to talk about money, right? To your clients too. Fees, right? Their monthly payment on the mortgage, their net payoff, right? All that stuff. So guys, this is the last slide, and I end on here because I always want to come full circle because that's my passion. You get really good at being a realtor, you make money, great. Now what do you do with it? Because even with someone whose dream job might be a real estate agent isn't necessarily going to be what they only do forever, right? They prefer maybe to do something a little else, or something else could be like relaxing on the beach. I don't know, whatever, right?
You build a laundromat.
The laundromat, right? Casey.
I might know a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So passive versus active income. So passive income, obviously, things like rent, right? Cash flow. How do you get cash flow in real estate? From EXP, Real Broker, right? We're Real Broker. We went to Real Broker because of that revenue share, right? So I think it's the future of real estate brokerage. I really do. Why would you not do that if you had a chance to earn money without just doing? I'm going to sell it from my homes regardless. Doesn't matter. Okay? Why not get paid additional extra for doing the same thing we're already doing? Right? So it's EXP, it's Real. There'll probably be a new one after Real. It'll come along 5 years from now or whatever. Right? But that's passive income. Investing in real estate, guys, the tax implications are huge. Okay? That's one thing I can hold our class on. Just real estate tax implications, right? Because it's bananas how much you guys believe in that. And you probably don't even learn it. Every single person who's a real estate agent, real estate professional should be investing in real estate. You should. It's too good not to. So that's my challenge. If you don't have a system to tell them where your dollars go, you should do it. There's a book that will get you thinking in the right frame of mind called Profit First by Michael, his last name's hard to pronounce, like Malawashik or something like that, right? Profit First. Okay? And he talks about telling your money where to go, and it's only going to happen if you have a system. Okay? And with that, guys, just a recap. Remember what the outcome of the future real estate agents is? Whether it changes or not? still to be determined. And then how you plan to protect yourself and your commissions, and then where do you go from here? All right, guys. Any questions about this at all? This is where you can reach me. Obviously, I'm passionate about this. I've learned to really like real estate agents. First, I never did, right? And I know how hard it is to grow your business, whether you're single, by yourself, on a team, have a team, whatever, or a DB, whatever you want. So,
And as long as you signed up on the sheets today, I'll make sure I get this along with a couple of slides I saw people taking pictures of and the buyer benefit agreement out to everybody in here. Thank you,
thank you, guys.
All right. Everybody sign up to value.